What's happening?
There's something in the water.
What do you mean there's something in the water?
I don't know, there's just something in the fucking water.
There's something in the water. There must be something in the water.
Hey everyone, welcome to Ajay and Nathan Discuss Movies, a show in which we discuss movies both old and new. Today we have a new movie that we're discussing for this week's movie discussion. And what is that movie, Nathan?
That movie, Alien Romulus, the 9th Alien movie in this franchise that should have died after the second one. Alien Romulus.
Yeah, I mean, we were going to do a joke being like, oh, we watched the new insert movie below with controversies, but I think we've already discussed.
It ends with us.
We've already discussed that. So
Blake Lively fights the Xenomorph.
Speculation of a potential rift got worse after fans noticed Jonsson wasn't included in any of the group photos from the New York City premiere. He also spoke to reporters more than an hour before Blake and the rest of the cast arrived. But despite rift rumors on the carpet, Jonsson gushed over his co-stars while talking to Access Hollywood.
That would be a great movie.
That would be a great movie.
That'd be a great movie. But no, we're here to discuss Alien Romulus, directed by Fede Álvarez.
Fede Álvarez, yes, from the Evil Dead remake and Don't Breathe.
And what is the movie about, Nathan?
Alien Romulus. It is a new addition in the Alien franchise. Has a ragtag group of young folk who decide that they're going to leave their mining colony. They're going to steal equipment from Weyland-Yutani to get to a new system. And upon this space station that is derelict and abandoned, they find something else. They don't find freedom. They don't find hope. No. They find the Xenomorph. And then alien tomfoolery arises.
And how did you feel about this movie, Nathan?
I know we have differing opinions. I really liked it. There is a but after that statement, because I think it has some issues with pacing and self-referential kind of nostalgia bait, but outside of that, I think it is a very well-crafted film. I think Fede Álvarez really has an eye for horror and suspense. I like how he takes it back to just haunted house, monster movie in space. I think that streamlines a lot of stuff. Again, I do have issues that we will get into, but overall, I found it a very enjoyable experience, and I liked it a lot.
It's good that you enjoyed it.
Thank you, Ajay. How did you feel about the movie?
So I did enjoy parts of it. I want to be very clear here. I did enjoy parts of it. I felt like the first 20, 30 minutes were great. I thought the visuals were amazing. Some of the best visuals in any Alien film so far. Yeah. I thought the characters were likable enough. Some of the dialogue felt a little bit stiff and contrived, and I couldn't really discern what they were saying, mainly because of that one guy who had this really working, I wouldn't say working class, but this very rough English accent,
a very Cockney accent,
a very thick English accent. I don't know if it's Manchester accent. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's called, but the guy who says "Something in the water,"
Something in the water. Something in the water.
there's something in the fucking water.
He's androids, mate. These androids killed my mum.
Something in the water.
I couldn't understand it, what he was saying, and he was saying a lot of things that were important for the plot. So that was a little bit of an issue. Right. Yeah, I mean, it tried to play it straight as an Alien movie until it turned into complete schlock the last 20, 30 minutes, where it was just I don't know what it turned into. But it was just a pure action adventure film from then on out. I mean, I enjoyed parts of it. I thought there were some great horror elements that Fede Álvarez really put into this movie, especially in the earlier parts of the film. But it kind of lost me towards the end, I'm not going to lie. And overall, I wouldn't say this is one of my favorite Alien films. I wouldn't say this is a bad Alien film either. It's somewhere in the middle. Yeah, those are my thoughts on that.
All right.
There are issues with it, and we'll obviously get into spoilers later in the episode.
Yeah.
But overall, I was a little bit disappointed. I'm not going to lie. I was a bit disappointed.
Okay.
There are good elements to it, and as I mentioned before, I think the visuals are great. The sound design was also really good.
Sound design's amazing, yeah.
But that goes along with any horror movie. If you make a horror movie, there's got to be great sound design. And this was a case in which that was that was true. But yeah, I was a little bit disappointed.
A little bit disappointed, a little bit mid.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, I want to have my expectations subverted.
I thought we were going to have one more drink before we went into cryo sleep. Who's going to lead us in our toast?
Just have Danny do something. She don't know what to say.
All right, Captain.
Make sure everyone behaves.
Oh, yeah, you can count on me.
Night.
Night, Captain. Night, Captain.
A few moments later.
Let's party.
Oh, okay.
I think that was a little bit of an issue with this
Alright.
film, and I kind of could tell because this is the first movie that Disney made for the Alien franchise, where I felt as if when you go into an Alien movie, especially with recent Alien films, you have an expectation for it, and Ridley Scott, for better or for worse, kind of subverts that. He doesn't really pull it off always. I would say that there are times where he doesn't necessarily pull it off, but at least there's some element of surprise to it.
Okay.
With this film, it kind of felt, in my opinion, like if you took the script of Alien and Aliens and just made a movie out of it.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I wasn't a big fan. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not hating on the film. I don't want to seem as if I hated the film. There are admirable qualities to the film. It just wasn't for me.
Okay, I get you. I see where you're coming from. I think we are kind of like we're kind of doing like the dichotomy, I think, of like what the response to this movie has been, where it's been like people wanted something like new and fresh to really like hit their synapses with the Alien movies, and then there's people who are happy with what they got because it is more a return to like classic form. You mentioned that the movie feels like Alien and Aliens kind of put into a blender. I kind of like that about the movie. I can understand why that doesn't jazz you up or why it doesn't jazz like other people up. But for me, I appreciated the fact that it decided to remain focused on just like the alien horror. The xenomorph is on a space station. It's a haunted house monster movie in space. I appreciate that it just brought it right back to that, and for the most part remained focused on kind of giving you that experience. But I can understand, like, again, like we talked about before we even recorded, like Prometheus and Covenant are so radically different from every other Alien movie, but they're at least, you know, trying to instill like some new ideas, some different things into kind of like the pace of these movies. Take them from just horror in space to something more. Give you something more to chew on.
Yeah, I mean, overall, when it comes to this movie, again, I want to be very clear here. I don't hate this movie.
Yeah.
But I don't ever see myself returning back to it.
Okay.
I know people make fun of Alien Resurrection a lot, and by no means is it a good movie. It's not a good movie. But at least it was original.
Okay.
It was originally bad. I like to say that Alien Resurrection is like if you took like a Sam Raimi movie, but like on steroids. If you put a Sam Raimi movie on steroids, and that's what Alien Resurrection would be. Insert that infamous clip of some of the camera going inside someone's mouth.
just
Yeah,
classic
stadium.
Sam Raimi shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I think when I see an Alien movie, and this was true for most of the Alien movies within the franchise, at least it was something different. At least it was something new.
Okay.
Obviously, we won't get into Alien versus Predator movies. That's a little
Those
bit-
don't exist.
Yeah, those don't exist.
Those don't exist.
in canon. But yeah, I mean, were there any issues for the film for you?
Yeah, it will get into kind of spoiler territory, but I gotta say, like you said earlier, I think the first 20 to 30 minutes set everything up really well. When we start on the colony world, we kind of see how this group is living and like their aspirations to like get off this planet away from like the corporate Weyland-Yutani system. I think it's really great, sets everything up very well, sets a nice atmosphere. You were saying that it's a very good looking movie. It's gorgeous, like especially while like we're on this planet that is just like they have like no day cycle. It's just like always night on this mining planet, just like it has like the little like text bubble that pops up, just like Weyland-Yutani mining colony, days of sun 0, and just like there's thunder and lightning around the entire place. It looks gorgeous. And yeah, no, that first 20-30 minutes really builds up the dread, the anticipation of like when they get onto this station and things get wild. There's that amazing scene, it's in the trailers, where the face huggers are like kind of like chasing them through a door.
Yeah.
It all explodes at once, gets you really hyped, and then it immediately kind of kneecaps itself when they bring out the puppet of Ian Holm from the first Alien. And
spoilers in case you don't know, they bring back Rook.
Yeah, Rook, Ash from the first movie. And that in and of itself is not my problem. My two main problems are, one, the effect looks kind of awful and weird and distracting, and also he exists kind of just to give you exposition constantly. Like, I think the middle chunk of the movie has this weird sort of pacing issue where it'll be like ramping up, there'll maybe be like a cool scene or a cool kind of like sequence, and then his face will pop up on the monitor and it'll be like, previously on Alien, we've got the Prometheus virus, or previously on Alien, the Xenomorph attacked Sigourney Weaver, and you've got to do these things. It really like killed the pace of the movie for me. It felt very much like that middle chunk was start and stop every time he popped up to like say something. That's my main issue. And then there are the moments in the film that are like directly calling back to the previous movies, like the line like, "Get away from her."
Oh, that
you
was
bitch.
Get away from her, you bitch.
It
so corny and contrived. It made no sense to me when they said that. I was like, no,
especially
do something new.
Especially
do something new.
Especially like the character who says it, Andy.
Yeah.
Who up until this point he's been like either like the crazy like Weyland-Yutani android or he's
a retard.
Gee.
I mean, let's just be honest, dude. He's either like the smartest person in the room, or as soon as the implant is taken out of him, the dumbest person in the room.
Yeah, no, the character is very much like they play him as like autism coded.
Yeah.
Which when I saw that, I'm just like, oh, that could be a kind of a cool angle. And then like the third time he's like shaking on the ground, I'm just like, I think we've gone too far with this metaphor. I'm not. It feels weird now, but yeah, no, he utters.
And for some reason, he was fine afterwards. A scene or two later, he's back into the spaceship.
Yeah, no, I guess
he's fine. And it's like, what?
He had a character arc. He gained confidence, which good for him. But still, like him being like, "Get away from her, you bitch," just felt very out of character. Like, I don't know. I was thinking the entire movie because like he's programmed to say like dad jokes.
Yeah.
He should have punctuated that kill with a dad joke.
I think we're well into spoilers now, right?
Yeah, we're well into spoilers. We can go ahead.
So, you mentioned the dad joke.
Yeah.
There was one particular scene where they're outside trying to fight the goo, I assume.
The goo?
The alien where, like, if you get, like, an acid burn or whatnot.
Yeah.
If you're exposed to the goo, if you touch the goo. You know that, the liquid?
Yeah, the acid blood? Are you talking about the acid blood sequence when they're in 0G? Okay, yeah.
Where they tell where he tells a corny dad joke, where he's like, "How do you know a zero gravity book is great? It's when you can't put it down."
Oh yeah.
And because of that joke, they come up with a solution to turn it into zero gravity.
Yeah.
How do you go from one to another just by Rain, by Cailee Spaony's character saying, tell a dad joke to Andy, who was played by the autistic person? How do you that didn't make you question the movie?
No, it didn't make me. Are you saying that it's unbelievable that he would tell a zero gravity joke just at the right moment that they needed to use zero gravity.
Yeah.
I mean, that just feels like a movie thing, like a normal movie contrivance.
It felt off to me.
Okay.
Because it felt either rushed or it felt as if it was just gearing you or setting you up early in the film for that moment.
Well, oh, like all the dad jokes previously were set up to... I can kind of see where you're coming from. I don't
You
think...
didn't feel that was off.
I don't think that was off.
You felt it was normal.
Yeah, no, I can't say I had a problem with
fine.
it.
If that's how you feel.
I can't
how you
say
feel.
I had a problem with it. Like, I don't know. I like the fact that he's telling dad jokes. I think it's a fun little character quirk to have. I wish he had told one when he killed the xenomorph. Like, hey, face hugger, I barely know her.
Or when he allows Isabela Merced to be impregnated by the xenomorph.
Oh.
Which was hilarious. Like, if he just told a joke when the boyfriend was crying, it would have been hilarious. It would have been hilarious. So yeah, I had an issue with that.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a nitpick. I don't know, but that was definitely an issue that I had with the film. The other issue that I had was when they were first exposed to the guns.
Yeah.
This was when it turned into a complete schlock for me in the film, where they were exposed to the guns, and like the guy just gave like this huge ramble about the use of guns and like how to use them, and Cailee Spaeny's character was like, how do you know all this? He's like, just read.
Oh yeah,
books.
He's like video games,
books. Yeah, I'm like, what? That makes no sense to me. If you play any video game, you know that there's a difference between like playing a video game with guns and then actually using a gun.
Yeah.
It made no sense to me how he knew all this information. And like for some reason, like the whaling, when he gets that chip implanted in him, the autistic person, when he gets that chip implanted, he knows every slight thing about this place. It felt a little bit...
Well, I mean, with that, I can say that, it was connected to the other android who's got all this knowledge. It even started to, like, it updated his AI software,
but
gave him more credentials.
It felt as if it was just used as a plot device instead of it actually being well fleshed out. Because I truly don't know, like, the world in which it's trying to create or construct. Like, yes, the visuals are great, but we still don't know that much about the thing that we're in right now.
How do you mean we don't know much about the thing that we're in?
I don't know. Like, if you're new to Alien, right, you
Yeah.
may not know the ins and outs of, like, the space shuttle.
Okay.
Where we're at.
Okay.
And for this character to know everything about it, it just felt, to me, a little off.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it should have done a better job in explaining the implant towards that. If you disagree, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's not that I disagree. It's more that I just think the movie is already so front-loaded with, like, explanations about things, which, again, like, that little puppet of Ian Holm is just all explanations about so much stuff that I don't think really matters. That's the explanation that bothers me. That's kind of the world stuff that gets to me, because I feel like it pulls focus away from the current story that we are experiencing. Like, him getting a chip in his neck that gives him all access and credentials and all the knowledge of the ship, that I can accept. I can accept that. Robot brain stuff, Wayland Yutani, evil corporation. That stuff doesn't really bother me as much. I can look at that and just be like, well, it's a movie. It has to happen.
How did you feel about the cast in this film?
I thought the cast was really great. I like that they're kind of just like a like a dirty group of just like kind of like shitty teens who are just like, we're gonna go steal some corporate equipment and we're gonna get out of here and fly away, and then it all goes terribly wrong. Cailee Spaeny is fantastic as she is in every movie. I really do like the actor that they got to play like the android. I do like how he is.
I think he was the best actor in the entire film.
Oh my god!
Obviously, Cailee Spaeny is great. It was Isabela Merced was great in terms of being that like screen queen kind of character.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She was going through so much the entire movie.
But yeah, the android was definitely the best.
Yeah. No. Constantly switching between like kind of like innocent and meek to like company man, I will grab a face hugger by the tail and launch it against a wall.
I was thinking about this throughout the entire film, mainly because Cailee Spaeny was in it, but I felt like this film could have been better. Obviously, Fede Álvarez is a great director. He made a great movie with Don't Breathe. I even think the Evil Dead remake was pretty good as well.
I absolutely love the Evil Dead remake.
However, I think that this film would have been greatly beneficial if Alex Garland was directing this film.
Oh, okay. I can see Alex
it
Garland
being new and original, obviously, with the with the force that Disney has on its creators, even Ridley Scott. Because I remember when Blade Runner 2049 was released, there was a lot of discussion of how Ridley Scott put himself in the producer role and kind of forced Denis Villeneuve to do certain things, and Denis Villeneuve said, "Hey, like, don't get on set so often. Let me just do my own thing."
Yeah.
I feel like in a perfect world, if Alex Garland directed this film, I think the vision would have been a little bit more experimental.
Okay.
But a little bit for me.
All right. I can see. I think Alex Garland, if he ever wants to get back to directing, please, Alex, we miss you.
He directed a film this past year.
Yeah, Civil War.
Yeah.
But he says that was his last one.
Really?
And I already miss him. But
No. He didn't say that. He
didn't?
clarified in recent interviews saying that's not my final film. No.
Listen, I have a million questions for you, but I have to start with the most important, which is, I'm a big fan of your work. I read that you're not going to direct anymore. I've decided.
I never said that.
See, but
I just didn't like. I think this is from a piece in the Guardian, right?
It was all over the place. But
it was from an interview in the Guardian, right? And in an interview in the Guardian, I said, "I'm not going to direct for the foreseeable future." That's really not the same. Like retire. How that statement leads to the way it's being presented is, I think, part of the weirdness of existence at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank God. I've been worrying for nothing.
He said it was taken out of context by The Guardian.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, that makes sense. But yeah, no, I think Alex Garland could do an interesting Alien movie. Here's my thing with all the Alien movies, I think, is that you can't really do much with them. I was telling you, we were talking about this earlier before the pod, was that Prometheus and Covenant are really cool movies and really cool sci-fi films right up until they go back to being alien movies. Because then the Xenomorph can't really do much, or doesn't really lend itself to much outside of, I'm going to go on this spaceship, impregnate some chicks, and then eat everyone else.
I'm at that point now where I'm not really scared of the Xenomorph.
Yeah.
To me, it's like so embedded in pop culture where if I see a Xenomorph, my initial reaction is, cool, it's a Xenomorph. It's not, I'm scared of this.
Yeah, no.
Because we just see it so many times in pop culture. But I think you're talking about, how there's not that much to do within the world of Alien. That, it's very Rich Evans in terms of how he describes Star Wars.
See you again in 2 years for the next one.
When they just have to blow up a super weapon and she has to get into a lightsaber fight with Kylo Ren again. Because they can't do anything new or interesting with Star Wars. They just can't. It's not there. I'm sorry. You've wasted your life and your fandom.
Yeah.
In which I understand. But I think with Alien, there's so much that we haven't discovered yet.
Okay.
That I think an Alien movie without a Xenomorph or without the need of a Xenomorph, I think that there's still potential for that.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like, an Alien movie that doesn't actually have to focus on the alien, I think would be very interesting, because I love that first 20 to 30 minutes, like, in the company town, just kind of seeing how this world operates, how Weyland-Yutani as a company kind of has its, like, foot on, like, people's necks. I think that's all very interesting if you wanted to do, like, a Blade Runner-esque kind of, like, film about that and just, like, push the alien kind of to the back. But, again, like, all these movies, like, you gotta put the Xenomorph in there. And with this one, I appreciate that it is just, it goes back to the basics of alien on ship doing alien things. And I think because of that focus, I really like it a lot. You said you didn't like the last, like, 20 minutes of this movie.
Part of the reason why, and I feel like I should explain it, because no matter what situation Rain was put in, she was Teflon Dawn. She was impenetrable. I knew from like by the end of the movie that like no matter what situation she's put in, she's gonna be alive and fine.
All
A
right.
lot of people say this is Rogue One. I disagree because at least with like Rogue One, I'm not complimenting the movie. This is more of a negative for the film, for Rogue One. But everyone dies. With this movie, it's like no matter what situation she's put in, she's fine.
Okay.
There was no like part of me where I'm like, oh no, she's not going to make it. I knew right then and there that she's going to survive this.
Okay.
It felt a little. Do you know what I'm saying by this?
I know what you're saying. You feel like she had plot armor throughout the whole movie.
It felt as if no matter what situation you put her in, she was going to be all right by it.
Okay. Here's the thing with this. I was kind of losing myself within like around the middle chunk. I was kind of losing myself in the movie. I think that third act kind of brought me back. I kind of love that 20 to 30 minutes at the end. I'm not gonna lie.
The way that you described the Watchers in our review.
The Watchers?
Yeah. I was like, end this now.
Okay.
End this.
When they get out of the forest, that's the ending of the movie. As I was like, you can attest to it. When they got out of the forest, I just looked over you and I just said, stop.
Yeah.
Movie over. We're out of the forest. It's done. And then she opens up the magical fairy scroll, and I wanted to rip my skin off.
We survived. If not to spoil it, but by the end of the film, when it's revealed that part of where Isabela Merced's character gives birth to like a hybrid, end the movie there. Just end it ambiguously. Don't end it with like a concrete ending. End it ambiguously. Like let us determine whether or not they survive or not. Or do something of that nature where it's normal and original. Like, and that's when you end it.
All right. I see what you're saying.
By the way, that birth scene was like very crazy to me.
My god,
it was amazing.
Wild.
I loved it so much. But that's when you end it. For me, that's when I was like, end this movie now. End it now.
I don't disagree with you. I think you're very valid, but at the same time, I love that disgusting alien human baby. I think it's a wild design, and I love seeing it muck about. I thoroughly
I like the
enjoyed
look of it.
Yeah,
it's very much Alien Resurrection in the way it's looked.
Yeah, alien human hybrid. Yeah.
But just end it there.
Okay.
Like, show it. Make that the final jump scare, the final horror scene. End it.
Okay.
Cut to credits, directed by Fede Álvarez, based on the works of H.R. Geiger.
Like,
end it like that.
Give it a real, like, horror, ambiguous ending where you are uncertain. Like, it is just, last shot is just Cailee Spaeny trapped on the ship with this disgusting being.
Yes.
I get you.
Yeah. Instead of Ian Holmes' AI being like, no! Just pulling a Darth Vader and pulling a Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, just end it like that. If that's how they ended it, I would have so much more love for this film.
Okay.
But again, part of the issue for me was the last 20-30 minutes where it just turned into complete schlock, in my words. Not yours, but in my words, schlock. And it was just... It felt like it overstayed its welcome.
I'm not going to say that schlock isn't a good word to use because there is that scene where she's blowing alien heads off. And that is the schlockiest thing I've ever seen. It's just her just like holding out the trigger, just going, yeah, die! And it's just like, headshot. That was so schlocky. And I loved every second of it. I think it's just like... You're very fair for wanting a new horror experience. I don't blame you for hating this. I still kind of love it.
I don't hate it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Again, clarification.
I don't blame you for being disappointed.
Yeah. I'm disappointed by the film. I don't hate it. I'm disappointed.
I don't hate you, son. I'm disappointed.
I mean, this is what happens when Disney acquires a new IP. Is that like in order to revitalize it, in order to bring new fans in, they just borrow existing ideas from previous films, make it entirely new film with a different title, but with existing tropes and ideas. And I don't really have that much hope with this new franchise, because not only is it owned by Disney, but because we've seen it time and time again, or time and time before, where they don't know where to go from their first good idea, or from a idea that revitalizes and refreshes a franchise.
Yeah.
We've seen this with Star Wars, where they have a really good first film that does well critically and commercially, and then the subsequent films are quite disappointing and are quite hated by the fans.
Yeah.
And I think that this is going to be like that, but with the Alien franchise. So I don't have that much hope for it.
Okay. I mean, I'm of the mind that Alien should have ended after Aliens. We should have completely dropped trying to carry on Ripley's story. We should have completely dropped trying to kind of expand upon the alien lore.
Yeah, if Ridley Scott viewed Alien the same way as he views Blade Runner, I think that we'd have a much more favorable view of Alien.
I remember when I was rewatching Prometheus for this, like, I was really enjoying it, and then I see the engineer get into the space jockey chair, and it made me remember, like, this is in the Alien continuity, and I was like, oh, it's an Alien movie. It's not its own thing. Lame. That's kind of where my mind was at. Like, I guess you either go full Alien or you don't, and you just do something completely far removed. I still really love Alien Romulus because it went full Alien, for both better and worse. But I still thoroughly enjoyed my time with it, and I think I don't want to discredit, like, the work that went into a lot of it because of some stuff that is very fairly annoying and kind of shouldn't be there.
Let's wrap up our thoughts on the film.
I think if you can accept that the movie is going to be very much back to basics, very much like the simple, like, alien on a spaceship, like, causing havoc, I think there's a lot to enjoy. I think Fede Álvarez's direction, his eye for atmosphere and suspense holds through. It has pacing issues. It has issues with with constantly, like, harkening back to other Alien movies and being maybe a little too simple. But again, I think if what you want is alien action and gore and big ol' xenomorphs going wacko, I think you'll find a lot to enjoy.
Yeah. Overall, I was a bit disappointed. I wanted something new and refreshing, and to have my expectations a little bit subverted. But I understand that this is essentially a reintroduction of Alien to a new group of fans. And if you're a person who's never seen Alien or Aliens, I'm sure you'll enjoy it. But if you're familiar with the lore, with the mythos of Alien, I don't know. Obviously, Nathan's a big fan of Alien.
Yeah.
So he enjoyed it.
Like a hostage for the Alien franchise.
Carry my, no you carry my poker face. Poker face, poker face. Poker.
For me, I just felt as if there are good parts in this film. The acting is great. The direction's great. The sound design's great. There's some great horror elements, horror scenes in this film. But by the end of it, I was a little bit too tired. It felt like it was overstaying its welcome. And it's an hour and 55-minute movie that feels a little bit longer than an hour and 55-minute movie.
Okay.
And overall, I'm a little bit disappointed. And hopefully they offer something new and something different, which that it's run by Disney, I don't know. When I saw the 20th Century logo pop up with, like, the little, like, jump scare with it, when it turns into green mush.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
there's that.
This is not a good sign.
You know,
this is not a good sign.
You know they're making an Alien TV show, right?
I'm sure it's going to be great. You know, I'm sure they're not going to borrow existing ideas from the Alien and, you know, bring back old actors from it. And
oh my God, it's Sigourney Weaver.
Oh my God, it's Yaphet Kotto. He's there. Hopefully it's original.
It won't be.
No, I mean it won't be. Have you seen any Disney Plus original Star Wars show?
No.
It's basically just, hey, it's Hayden Christensen. Hey, it's Ewan McGregor. We know these people. So that's what it will be. So, a lot to look forward to under the new brand of Disney.
Yep.
All right. I think that's it for us.
Yeah.
It's good to know the timer went off when we wrapped up our thoughts on it. So I think that's it. Bye.
This is what the people want to know. Is Alien Romulus a good first date movie?
Yes. I was actually thinking the first time I saw it, I was like, this would be such a good movie.
Yes.
Okay, the front row was saying yes, and you
100%.
said yes right away.
Yes.
You didn't even, there was no hesitation.
Yes.
Why a yes so quick?
I don't know, I just feel like anything that gets your heart rate up and makes you feel like a little scared for yourself in your life. When we are in high levels of fear, we have a higher urge to procreate. So.
I wasn't gonna take
Really?
it. I wasn't gonna take it that. But
Yeah, because our bodies have to tell us to reproduce so that if we die, then we at least have some offspring.